Good morning and welcome back to Deer Valley Homestead with me, Andy. This week we are taking a look at our plans and more specifically our animal breeding plans for 2025. I've broken this down into two sections. One is the animals that we already own that we're going to breed, and the other is the animals that are going to be arriving over the next few weeks and months. Of course, we've already started, and here we have our first batch of 11 chicks. These are green shell and dominant, and hopefully some of them will end up in our laying flock in not too long. So these were hatched out by Terry, who's Beatrice's sister. What's got on top of there? The food's over there, guys. The plan for these chicks is to diversify our laying flock a little bit. Hopefully most of them will be hens. However, if there is a few roosters, we will keep them. If there's too many roosters, then we might enjoy a nice bowl of soup. There are two main ways that animals arrive on our homestead. The first one is that we breed the animals that we have, and there's plenty of those going on this year. We're planning to breed everything that we own. Small side quest in here, we have the USA silkies that you saw go into the brooder 2 weeks ago, something like that. Oh no, what's wrong with you? You hurt your foot? These guys are all doing pretty well, apart from the one with the foot. It's had a bad foot since it was born. I was impressed that it grew. It's doing pretty well, so hopefully this isn't a sign of bad things to come. Fingers crossed. So we plan to breed pretty much everything that we own this year. Some of it is already ongoing. I still think we are about 2 months away from any eggs from the ducks. It's still pretty cold here today. It's just hovering in the minus temperatures, so we'll see. Of course, the rabbits have already been bred. They are due, hey Stiga, show us your belly. They are due in 4 to 6 days, depending on who it is. So Stiga here should be, oh, she's huge. Hey Stiga, you want to show everyone how big you are? Look at that belly sticking out. Are you breathing or are they kicking? That's hard to tell. So Stiga, Mama's favorite, and Cole and Mrs. Brown have all been bred. The only one that I'm not sure about is Cole here. I don't know if she's taken or not. Anyway, that will mostly be next week's video. And we have also decided that Mr. Brown is going to go the distance. We're going to sell him to someone else. He's done so much breeding here and such a good job of breeding here that he's now related to 3 out of the 4 does that we have. So it just makes sense to move him on. But for the animals that we are going to breed here, we're definitely going to breed the guinea fowl. Hey guys. At one point we were up to 14, we're currently down to 7. We owe someone a couple of guinea fowl, and they're a lot of fun to have around. Now, from my point of view, one of the most important things that we need to breed is our laying flock. However, we have a big problem. Teriyaki over here is the only rooster in the group, and we don't need baby teriyakis. Hey puppy. We did have 2 Lomond Brown roosters that we kept alive over winter so that we could breed them this year. Unfortunately, one of them got eaten by a fox and one of them just fell over. So we have ended up in spring with no rooster, and of course spring is the hardest time to buy a rooster because no one carries one over winter. They don't feed them when they don't need to. So we're not sure exactly what we're going to do. Of course, typically we were at the animal show last month and B found this beautiful leghorn rooster that would have been a great mix with the Lomond Browns, but because we still had the other rooster, I was like, no, we don't need it. We got home and it was that day that we found the other rooster had passed away. So just bad luck sometimes. Now, I will try to time our next batch of chickens to be born around the middle of June, end of June. And the reason for that is that way I get them to start laying eggs around November, which is just before when it gets too cold and our chickens shut down. If I get them to start laying just before the cold of the winter, then generally I find they will keep laying over the winter, and those new chickens will keep me in eggs when everyone else stops laying for the cold. At the moment we have 25 chickens, that's teriyaki, and 24 hens, and we're only getting about 5 eggs a day. It is cold here. Overnight it's -7, -8, and during the day it's only just getting above 0. So not as many eggs as we would like. In fact, we might as well check while we're here. What have we got so far today? Wow, we have 1 egg. 1 egg, and it's already lunchtime. That is terrible. We've been averaging between 3 and 5 for the last week, which isn't great, but it's better than none. Of course, we would like to breed the silkies as well. The silkies are a two-prong attack, really. For all of the poultry that we're going to breed, we either have to go one of 2 routes. Either we use a mama hen or a mama duck, and they incubate the eggs for us. They take all the work of looking after them, and it's wonderful. However, ducks, pheasants, guineas are not particularly good mums. Silkies are generally very good mums, and that's part of why these guys are here. And also we would like to get some silky babies. Sadney? Oh, we don't want licking. We don't want licking. The chickens are enjoying a bit of time out in the outside of the pheasant area. And of course, we would like to breed our pheasants as well. It's another reason why I really need to get to work on this aviary. But the problem I have is that the ground is still frozen. Hey ducky doos. I do love runner ducks, but they are just scared of life. It's quite a challenging thing. I absolutely loved the Mullards that we had 2 years ago. Those were the friendliest ducks around, wow. So that is rabbits, ducks, and guineas, pheasants, and 2 different breeds of chicken that we want to breed. All of those require either a mama hen or a brooder. And that's already 5 different sets of chicks to brood, which is quite a lot when you think. It's at least for the chicks, that's 21 days in the incubator. For the ducks, it's 28. For the pheasants, I think it's 24, 25. That's a lot of days in incubator, and quite a short egg laying season for some of them. The ducks will only lay eggs for about 6 months here. The pheasants only do 2 batches of 20 eggs each, and that's if we have a really good run. Chickens, okay, much easier. And the guineas will also lay for about 6 months. It's a lot to fit in. On top of that, there is another way that we are going to bring some new animals here, and that is going to the local animal show. And currently, we have quite big plans. We are planning to do 6 geese. Last year we did 4. Thinking about getting 2 mullards just because they were so much fun. Maybe 8 broiler ducks. And then we're looking at possibly buying some laying hen chicks. Some Lohman brown rooster chicks. And possibly some meat bird chicks. Up to 100 of those. We're not sure yet. We need to work out the plans a little bit more. The Lohman brown chicks here, they sell the ladies for 80 or 90 cents. Something like that. It's not too expensive. They sell the boys for the price of the vaccination. They sell the boys for 6 cents each, which is just crazy. And I do understand why. Lohman brown cockerels grow fairly slowly, so they cost more to raise than a lot of the other breeds, and that's why people just don't really raise them. Is anyone else's workshop just constantly full of other things? Currently I have 2 brooders in here, and I don't know, maybe a quarter of the stuff is animal related. And that brings us to these boxes, which are, as you may have guessed, more stuff for breeding animals. There should be, hopefully, some light bulbs. Oh, this is a jackpot box. Alright, we have a few different things. We have some new waterers. That's for the brooder that's behind you. That is going to be for the baby turkeys if they hatch out today. And we have a bunch of heat lamps. I tend to buy the fairly low power ones, so these ones are 60 watts. And then we have one that is bigger, that is 100 watts. And we have one more heat lamp. This one is a bit of a speculation buy, let's say. I prefer to use the electric hens, but I always have a backup plan. And in this case, that's what this is for. We don't have a brooder we're going to put it into. It's going to sit here in the workshop. And if something else breaks down, this is what's going to save us a nightmare. Now for the turkeys, they are going to go into this one. Open it without ruining everything. There we go. So we did previously have a big 60 by 40 centimeter heat plate electric hen, but it broke. Anyway, we sent it back and they didn't want to fix it. They didn't want to give us another one. They just sent us the money back. So we've ordered this one from their competitor instead. There we go. That's funny. It's all in English. Heat plate for chicks. How does that look? That's going to be perfect. If I remember rightly, the top of this one opens. Oh yes, there we go. Alright, so that is all set up. One heat plate, that is on and running. One waterer, no water, no food yet. It's ready to go, but you know, that is one of the things that has taken over my workshop. Is all the baby food. We have turkey starter, chick starter, duck starter, pheasant starter. Two of those are the same thing, but anyway, it's all here ready to go. Alright, so I promised you some plans, and our plans look something like this. Of course, it's all dependent on when who starts laying eggs, but we would like to end up with around 20 runner ducks. We will keep our flock around the same size it is now, which is 9 or 10, and we'll sell off any extras that we get. The laying hens, we would love to breed our own layer hens. However, we don't have a rooster at the moment, and I'm not sure if we'll have time in the incubator to put some of our own hens' eggs in there. So I've left this one as a question mark. The silkies, if we could end up with 10 ladies by the end of the year, that would be amazing. And the same for the pheasants. 10 ladies would give us a really big advantage next year when the season starts on how many pheasant eggs we can put in the incubator within 7 days of being laid. The guinea fowl, if we could get the flock size back up to 20, that would be great. We will of course aim a little bit higher, but if we manage to get the flock back up to 20, that would be a win. For the French lops, we're aiming for 40. That's the equivalent of 2 litters of kits per lady that we have at the moment. We have 4 ladies. Turkeys, we're aiming for 5. We'll see how it goes. We started with 20 eggs. We took 12 of them out of the incubator because they weren't fertile. And we've got 8 in there hatching at the moment. In fact, 1 is hatched and 1 is just pipping. Fingers crossed that a few more appear as well. So that is the breeding of our own animals, and the next one is what we are looking to purchase. The next section is what we are looking to purchase and raise up over the next few months as well. Last year we did 4 geese. I would like to do 6 this year. It Might possibly be a couple more, because a couple of people have asked us if we would prepare them a goose as well. We would like to do some broiler ducks. I would love to get 2 mullards. I'm not sure if I will or not. It will depend on the research of if they can live with the broiler ducks and the geese at the same time. If they need to be done separately, then unfortunately I don't think we'll be able to get them. We're thinking to buy between 20 and 60 Lohmann brown hens as day-old chicks, and to sell them as they grow. And of course any little leftover will just jump straight into our laying flock. I think we'll also do the Lohmann brown cocks again. We did these 2 years ago in 2023, and because so few people do them, there was quite a high demand and we sold out. We didn't even keep one for ourselves. We're still talking about doing broiler chicks, and I'm really not sure if we will or not this year. Last year we got a batch of bad chicks from a bad breeder, and it hasn't put us off, but we're also not 100% sure if we want to do it again. We may also get a rooster to go with our laying hens. Just depends on whether we decide to breed our own or whether we decide to buy some day-old chicks. And again, that's going to come down to space in the incubator over the summer. Oh, did I leave those 2 in there? They're not supposed to be there. As always, thank you very much for watching, and if you made it to the end, don't forget to subscribe. We will catch you all next week, where we will probably be looking at the rabbits and possibly even starting on the pheasant aviary. Keep safe.